According to the podcast, the political risk can be divided into four topics or four main ideas. The first one is the geopolitical shifts. Changes in how countries interact between each other and their policies and trade disruptions can make things more complicated for business. Sometimes government decisions related to trade can make it hard for business that rely on smooth international trading, but for some companies that can adjust, these changes might bring new opportunities like government help or rewards. Also, leaders who care more about their own country create barriers that can mess up all friendships, and as tension between countries increase, it's harder for business to make plans. And also, related to this, big groups like the United Nations and the WTO struggle to make sure that everyone follows the rules and keeps peace in the major countries in the world. For example, the trade fight between US and China makes harder for business worldwide and costs them more money. And also here in Latin America, leaders like Jair Bolsonaro in Brazil are making rules that protect the country, so it's harder for the business to negotiate in Brazil and also for the companies that want to expand to Brazil. The second idea are the elections. With elections happening over in 60 countries in 2024, it's hard to guess what's gonna happen and how the elections can affect the companies. Because, for example, when no single party wins enough votes, they create coalitions, and that can make the decision making slow down as all the parties want to decide what is going to happen in the country. So the companies are being affected because they are unsure on how to expect. And also, regarding the elections, there are a lot of fake news that affect the idea of the idea that the people have of the uh, candidates, and also this can create protests or violence or riots and so on. An example of this can be the upcoming French presidential elections that is look like it's gonna be a close race as they have a lot of candidates from different sides trying to win. And also the last election in India, there were a lot of fake news on internet that affect the elections, and they takes many days to count the votes and to certificate that the elections were legal. The third one is the macroeconomic transitions. High inflation rates bring challenges, especially in the first part of 2024, and when central banks increase the interest rates to tackle inflation, that can make borrowing money more expensive for business, and also this can slow down how fast the economy grows, and this can cause a recession. And also, many governments own a lot of money, and if the interest rates go up, the economy gets weaker and they can struggle to pay the debt that they have. And this can cause financial problems and make the country less stability in political terms and affect obviously the business that are in the country. An example of this can be that the US Federal Reserve plans to raise interest in 2024 to tackle the inflation, and also the economic trouble right now in Sri Lanka because the government owns a lot of money and they don't have the money to pay, and also the business are having problems as they need to abandon the country. The last one is the climate change, as government policies and regulations focus on climate change pose challenges for business. For example, some governments make companies pay taxes based on how much they pollute or make them trade pollution permits, and this can cost more for companies that use a lot of fossil fuels. And also, the transition to greener energy or cleaner energy is expensive for business as they have to buy new machines and also change all the way they produce their work, so that might mean they are gonna make gonna make less money at the beginning. An example of this can be the European Unions, as they make companies pay for how much they pollute with their emissions trading systems, and this push the companies to use cleaner ways of produce. So, in conclusion, for companies, the landscape in 2024 requires a keen awareness of a global trends, also a willingness to adapt, and a proactive approach to risk management. By staying informed and taking little steps, business can not only weather the storms of political uncertainty, but also potentially discover new opportunities that arise from these changing dynamics in the world.